Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica from the 104.5 The Zone studio. Super Wild Card weekend in the NFL saw the Texans and Chiefs move on in the AFC on Saturday. Houston routing Cleveland at home and Kansas City handling Miami in freezing cold temperatures at Arrowhead Stadium. On Sunday, Jordan Love went 16 of 21 for 272 and 3 touchdowns as the Packers dominated in Dallas, winning over the Cowboys 48-32. And on Sunday night, the Detroit Lions winning their first playoff game in over 3 decades, 24-23 over the LA Rams. This afternoon, the Pittsburgh Steelers visit the Buffalo Bills. Kickoff set for 3:30 in a game originally scheduled for Sunday afternoon, but was moved due to weather. The Eagles are at the Bucs for a 7:15 kickoff. The winner of that game travels to Detroit in the divisional round. Tune into The Zone for Westwood One coverage of both matchups. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's up? Snowy everywhere, not even Middle Tennessee. People are digging out their driveway like the Bills are. The Bills are still digging out their stadium, by the way. They keep showing pictures on Twitter. They just
said it. They were
right
listening.
on cue.
I told you, the national people listen to this show, man. I try to tell you, man. They always texting me, man.
Right.
Hey, man, that Mickey guy, he's hilarious, man.
Right
We're gonna
on
follow
cue.
his lead.
A truck driving just a load of snow and some guy in a Josh Allen jersey just throwing snow from one row of the stadium to the next.
$20 an hour.
and breaks in a warm area and food is what it's.
Yeah, he gets breaking. Isn't that amazing? We're talking about in 2023. Oh, my.
Hey, man.
This is a hot mess.
This is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Hey, they're going to show up, too. Those fans are going to show up. They're going to be throwing snowballs, too, by the way. Rest assured, those things can get real dangerous up there.
Well, yeah, remember when they had to, was it last year when they had to flag the fans for throwing snowballs during the Bills-Miami game?
Yeah, they had to stop. The referee said something on the loud. Yeah, hey, stop.
And then they
kept throwing them,
They
though.
started throwing flags on the Bills because of it.
Yeah. Yep, and they got a penalty, so then that's when they slowed down and stopped. They didn't hurt the Bills. They love, those fans there are crazy. They love their team. And I know they want the environment, the outside weather, to be part of their new stadium, but they should build a retractable just in case. That the NFL doesn't have to do something like this, moving games or canceling games, moving it to another city. And you can kind of leverage that now. To me, if I was the NFL, like we possibly could have moved this game because they were talking about moving the game to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's make it retractable and then or something where it's open. Some portion of it is open, but not all of it because we need to play these games. And then you also can, hey, you want to bring Super Bowl there? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, draft. Oh, yeah. We need to be in there. So you got to start kind of pushing them in that direction. And this is a great time and opportunity if you're looking at it from the NFL point of view to maybe leverage that a little bit. Say, convince them this is why we did it because they're going to do what they want to do anyway. I mean, seriously. The NFL talks about safety. This is not safe. They have no heating system. This is totally different than the Kansas City Chiefs game. Totally different. This is dangerous. This is dangerous for those players out there. This is dangerous for the fans. Oh, and then add alcohol? Oh, you got to be kidding me, man.
And it won't be like in Kansas City where every beer that was bought just instantly froze as soon as it opened. I don't know if you guys saw those pictures or not.
Yeah.
The waters, the beers, the Cokes, everything just instantly froze over.
What do you think about that helmet cracking? Like, these new helmets are supposed to be
Super helmets.
that was, oh my. I couldn't believe it. Bang! And then they didn't even say the helmet to helmet or nothing.
On your quarterback, too. On the quarterback. Not just a quarterback, the quarterback.
The most protected quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, let me say this right now. I love Andy Reid, and I know Mahomes is great, as you said, the beloved. They're complaining. I don't want to say what I really want to starts with a B. I mean, they complain about every freaking call every time, like they're supposed to get every call in the world. It was pissing me off. I was like, look, hey man, sometime you're gonna get the call, holding. He was holding. I'm like, oh my gosh. dude, you overthrew it anyway. He wasn't going to catch it. Sorry. He missed it. Keep it moving. They thought they should get every freaking call. I was like, oh, this is not even a game. The Dolphins didn't even show up.
Those are some cold Dolphins. Dolphins don't like freezing water. No, you're still in my line there. That was rough, man. See them go down like that, not even put up a fight.
I didn't even watch the fourth quarter. That's this game, though.
Well, I did, but I'm just sick like that.
Well, I know you are, but I'm. You know what? I found out I'm not a believer in Tua. I hate to say it, and it's a team game.
They got to figure this out too, because this is his option.
I'm not in the NFL.
Yeah,
great college player. I think he could just be a good quarterback in the NFL. That's it. I don't know what it is. Besides, he doesn't have a strong arm. His demeanor and the way he goes. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't think he's the dude. Like, he doesn't have that it in the NFL for me. Dang. And it pains me because I like him.
Remember Tank for Tua? Like, that was the whole thing, man. People were so fired up to get this guy.
Nope. I would, I would consider a quarterback. They think I'm crazy. Like, they're going to get, what, they're going to be a first round pick, right? 20 and after? Would they be about 25? Just imagine if Penix is there at 25.
He might be.
See, that's what I'm getting at.
He might be.
You end up getting a guy like that, and you start the whole clock all over for your quarterback and getting paid. Now, I know they need some defensive ends coming off of ACL injury and all this other stuff, but I would consider it. No different than if I was the Dallas Cowboys. I would try to trade Dak Prescott. Time's up. TikTok is over. Done. TikTok is over. It's time to move on to somewhere else. He can't get it done. He can't do it. The Cowboys. Yeah, how many times has he been to the playoffs? I know at least 6, right? Yeah, he can't get it done. He can't get it done.
So it's still pending on today's games with Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay, but right now, per Tankathon, Miami is sitting at 22.
Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay.
Because wild card
Pittsburgh
losers.
and the Bills.
Tampa Bay
played the Eagles.
Yeah, well, they're a wild card losers. So the wild card losers go before the divisional round losers, and then the championship losers, and then the Super Bowl losers. But based on record, no, I see what you're saying. Pittsburgh and Buffalo will determine where Miami ends up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the last year of Tua's contract, so they got to do something. This is his 5th year. Options been picked up.
And I'm not just on one time I saw us play him. He doesn't have that. He's just a good quarterback. That's it. Gonna have, and they got pieces around him, so you getting the best of him right now. And then Waddle, where was he? He just disappeared. Like, that shouldn't happen.
He was looking for his coat on the sideline.
Like, whoa. Where was Waddle? I saw him have one catch.
He was waddling. I think I saw that same catch that you're talking about.
I told you I turned off on it. They dominated them. I mean, I thought it looked like it was going to be, but no, it wasn't.
I thought that Tyreek Hill touchdown would have sparked them, but it didn't.
I did too, and that's when I said this game is over. The next time they got the ball, I said, man, they ain't even throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill. Then the next day, they threw it to him twice, and then he boom, 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 score. I was like, okay, they better get him the ball. None after that. And then, the guy it's a free agent, Snead, that I want the Titans to sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he buried him, and then he punked him. He was pushing him and everything after the play and everything after different plays. See, I want to see dog. That's called dog. See, the film tell you. Yeah. I think he's number one on mine. I don't even know who all free agents, but I know he is.
I wouldn't mind having a dog at cornerback.
Since we don't have one.
Dog linebacker.
No, I ain't talking about a dog. We don't even have who's our starting corners?
Roger McCreary.
That's it.
Yeah, he's the only one.
And he's your inside guy.
Yeah.
No, he's the inside-outside guy.
He had to play outside some this year,
Based
for sure.
on situation, yes. He was forced to play outside, yes.
I guess the
internet.
internet.
He played outside, by the way, last year. The whole entire season. Yeah.
Trying to see Dak's contract here. I guess it's so cold it killed the internet. He is.
Man, and all the jokes on X was just killing me. It had me dying laughing. Oh, Dak Prescott, man. And the fan base. The fan base of the Cowboys.
So, according to Spot Track, Dak looks like he will be an undrafted free or an unrestricted free agent in 2025. So this year, or in 2024, he's making his base salary is $29 million.
I saw Joel Corey and the over the cap guy, whatever his name. I think I retweeted it. I can't get anything to work, but if I can get anything to open or work, they were basically saying to each one of those things where it's two guys kind of in the same field, a cap guy and an agent, and it was like one of them. Maybe it was Corey who said something along the lines of, "People need to get ready to see the tweet." Dak, $60 million per year.
They have to redo his deal, right? Yeah, you cannot. I will not do that. He hasn't won a clutch game yet in the playoffs, and that's what I'm trying to remember. I don't think they've. I'm sure they had to win one, but he's just, man. Sorry. Nope. I've seen enough.
He's 2-5 in the playoffs.
Yeah, I've seen enough.
Here you go. This is Jason, who's we have sometimes Mike on, who's a Spot Track guy. Jason is the over the cap guy. To me, Spot Track's way more easy to negotiate than anyway. He said, I don't think people realize, this is the over the cap guy. I don't think people realize just how much leverage Dak Prescott has. And when Dallas goes and restructures for cap relief, and then they wind up with him around $58 million in dead money in 25, it's just going to make it even crazier. And Joel Corey responded and said, yep, if Dak empowers his representatives to do what they see fit, I suspect the end result will have a lot of people thinking WTF about the numbers.
Yeah, they got to go. You know what I did notice, though? They had a free agent? Their left tackle. Tyrone Smith. They listed all the free agents from the Cowboys. Somebody tweeted one of them national guys, and I'm looking down, I'm thinking about the Titan. Well, who's on? 77? Oh, my. Oh, he legit. He is legit.
How old is he?
I don't know. I didn't even look up his age. All I need him for is 1 year. And we'll go from there, man. How old is he?
33.
Ooh.
So if you get him for 1 year.
Nah, I was just kidding. 3 years, but somebody's going to sign him to a 4-year, something. These offensive linemen, defensive linemen play much longer when they're in the trenches on that edge like that.
But say the Titans go after him and say they get him. So what do you do in the first round this year if you're the Titans? Do you go that skill position? You go after that wide receiver?
Yeah, if you Tyrone Smith, if you believe he can be the guy, yep, I would. I want a dynamic, Mickey-esque, but not small. I want that guy. Guess why? I got to sell seats and the tickets, bro. And it can't be all about Levis. I want must-watch TV. I want that guy. So you're not getting Harrison Jr., and I don't know if he's that guy anyway to be like that.
Oh, Dunze.
Yeah. See, must watch.
He's full size, too. He's like 6'2", 18 or something.
And he plays like a small guy? Yeah, that I'm with you then. I want must-watch TV. Because guess what? If it don't work out and we not winning, everybody come, man, that was a good game, though, man. It was exciting to watch.
Wow, the Titans scored 35 points
a game.
Hey, when the Vols hired Josh Heupel, I said, here's why I like this hire more than anything. Yep. They'll score a bunch of points. And if they win half their games first year, which they won 7 games, people will leave and be like, oh, my gosh, we scored 48 points today. People want points. It's exactly what you're saying. Yeah. It's sort of like the magic trick. They have everybody looking right, even if things aren't going good to the left.
Yeah. And you can do, see, getting that tackle kind of opens the gates for other options. Then you're talking about getting a corner in the second round. I mean, so this free agency, which is first, good to see where they go with this. And I don't have no idea who all the guys open. I just happen to see that because the Cowboys played and they talked about how many players will be back and who are free agents. And I know that guy could play. Now, there could be some history you need to go look up if he stays healthy, how much he plays, and how good he is at this point in his career and all those things. I did not look up. But I know when I watched the Cowboys, I'll be like, hey, man, that dude's legit.
Do you think whoever they decide to hire a head coach could affect who they bring in at free agency? Like, just throwing this out, Brian Callahan with the Bengals and T Higgins, who is a free agent this upcoming offseason?
Well, it's always about familiarity, but, a lot of people believe the NFL is scripted. I don't believe that, but there are signs of that. So, I like T Higgins coming out, but it's no guarantee. I know he said nice things about Callahan, though. And by the way, I'm just going to put a little birdie out there. If you bring Callahan, haven't watched him, don't know if he can be a good head coach, but he can bring Papa with him, who one of the best O-line coaches in the league.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
So you got to think outside the box. That's what we here for, Mickey.
Well,
yeah, O-line coach.
Bill Callahan.
Uh-huh.
I didn't even think about that.
Bam.
This is why we pay Blaine the big bucks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
To remember Bill Callahan.
Yeah. I know nothing about his son, but I do know his dad was a real good O-line coach. So, you get a 2-in-1 deal.
Was the offensive line coach for the Cowboys, was the offensive line coach for the Redskins, was the offensive line coach for the Eagles, was the offensive line coach at the University of Wisconsin, was assistant head coach and offensive line coach with the Jets. Hey, man. Hey, Dad. He hadn't coached in a couple of years since I looked this up the other day.
He hadn't coached?
He hasn't. Oh, my gosh.
He coached last year, didn't he?
He's coaching right now.
With the
isn't he?
Browns.
Yeah, he's with the
Oh,
Browns.
I thought he had retired after last year.
Uh-oh.
No. Bill Callahan.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man. Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Boy.
And speaking of Browns, what happened? All I kept thinking about, damn, we couldn't even block these dudes.
No.
They sure was blocking them.
It turned midnight for Joe Flacco.
Oh, my.
Back to the carpool line.
The Houston Texans, oh, my.
Hey, Houston, we have a problem around here because you're going to have to play that for the next few years.
Oh, my.
They hit on a lot of stuff, man. They hit on a lot of stuff. They hit on the coach. They hit on the quarterback. They had young guys making plays everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you always say, hey, you got to build a team that can win your division. Then you got to build a team to beat that. And that's just on the launching pad.
They made the Browns defense look bad.
Yeah, the Browns defense that made the Titans look like they were playing a different sport, like a bad one. All right, Eric Eager, he knows about all this stuff. He used to be with the Pro Football Focus, now with Sumer Sports. He is like us. He's out and about. He's working today. We'll hear from Eric Eager next. We'll break down a whole bunch of stuff. Playoffs, the Vrabel firing, what does he think? We'll get to all that next on Blaine and Mickey. Blaine and Mickey 104.5, the zone. Snow, give it to us, baby. We're in here. Ready to make the magic happen.
Well, the fans gave it to us, too, with Tyrone Smith. They said he'd been injured the whole freaking time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's been injured a lot. I'll tell you who's
Dang
never
it.
injured. Eric Eager.
Yeah, he's not injured. He could tell us probably who's not injured.
100%. He could tell us anything about
Can't
anything.
wait
Eric,
for
what's
Luke,
going
man.
on, Double E? It's been too far. It's been too long. It's just been too much of everything since we've talked to you.
That's what she said.
Yeah, it has been too long. It's been a crazy NFL season.
Sure has. It ended pretty crazy around here. Eric Eager of Sumer Sports, longtime PFF guy. So, obviously, we haven't talked to you since everything went down with Mike Vrabel. It's been interesting to hear and see different people's perspective on this. Let's just start with the elephant in the room. The Titans are looking for a head coach because they fired Mike Vrabel. Curious to get your Sumer Sports thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think, Vrabel has a lot of positives. I think back to the 2021 season where, the Titans rostered the most players in NFL history to that point, and they were able to get the 1 seed, and, that was an incredible feat. And yet, oftentimes we were left wondering, wanting more, right? The playoff shortcomings at times, the inability to get plus play, out of the quarterback at times, or even to pick a quarterback that, was better than Ryan Tannehill. I think that, I was really perplexed by, last year, reportedly, he wanted, John Robinson out. And then, you come to find out this year, he still can't get along with the front office that, he kind of, shook up himself. So it was a very, kind of complicated era in Tennessee for Vrabel. A lot of good. I thought they punched above their weight class a lot, but certainly some, not so good.
Is there a guy that you look out there and you see what the Titans have, for instance, at quarterback, Will Levis, who will be the quarterback unless they make another big change in the near future? Is there a guy out there that you think, boy, this would be a great guy for Tennessee to tap into? It's going to be a young roster. They got a lot of holes to fill. They've got a second-year quarterback. Anybody stand out to you in that regard of all the candidates?
Not particularly. I mean, I think that, if you want to kind of go back to the veteran route, you can go to, a guy like Kirk Cousins, in free agency. That could be somebody, but you're kind of going back. You're kind of going, back to the same thing, right? He's the same age, 36 next year.
Well, I meant more with the head coach, like the head coach to help the quarterback.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons there, right? Like if you want to go with, if you want to go with that, I mean, Ben Johnson's obviously the guy that, I think he's reportedly, going to Washington. I don't know if that's only being delayed because of the the Detroit Lions winning their first playoff game in 32 seasons last night, which is a lot of fun.
Were you there?
Or not.
Were you there?
I was. I actually I like to do that. It was a pretty fun time. Actually, other than the Super Bowl I went to where the Chiefs beat the Niners, it was like probably the best game I've been to. So, you have Brian Callahan, of the Bengals, who has done a really good job with Joe Burrow. You have Mike LaFleur, who I know that they lost last night. But in Los Angeles, like he's done a really good job with Stafford, kind of resurrecting there after Stafford had a little bit of dip, during his, Super Bowl season. And here's one, I don't think he's ready to be a head coach, but he's been a big name among the people who, sort of want to be, want just an OC, but Shane Waldron of Seattle. And I think the people, this is kind of a double whammy, obviously for within the division, but Bobby Slowick of the Texans, he would obviously hurt a division rival, but he's sort of a hot name, the first-year coordinator out of Houston.
Hanging out with our man Eric Eager. He is at Eric Eager _. He does his business at Sumer Sports.
Yes, Eric, man, I was excited to talk to you about it. I know you do a lot of simulations, and I just want to know, what's your record so far in the NFL playoff with your simulations, and what were the outcomes, and what were the disappointments? Did you get them all right? Hey, man, maybe I'll start using it.
Yeah, it's sumersports.com /playoff-preview. We have a preview of the playoffs through statistics. It's 125 pages. So if you want to look at the last two games, and one starts in 2 hours, it's great. We basically had a bettable prediction on three of the four games. The only one we didn't have was Green Bay against Dallas, and so far we are 3-0, which is great. So yeah, it's been good. We were very heavy on Detroit, which I've been a big. I've really liked that regime with Dan Campbell, and again, that's one where if you're looking at Tennessee and who they should hire, Campbell is interesting, right? Because Campbell kind of comes from that Vrabel, where he's maybe not a side of the ball, but he's more of a motivator type. He like Vrabel has had success doing that in Detroit. Which has been interesting. When it comes to tonight, we kind of like Philadelphia. We kind of like we're not bettable, but we do like, obviously, Buffalo to take care of business as well. Pittsburgh, a huge underdog in that game.
One thing about all these teams, when I was watching the games yesterday, all these guys have these coordinators are up for all these jobs, at least their names anyway, is that their offensive lines are all really good. Like C.J. Stroud, he had, he was baking a pancake back there most of the time. You get hit after the throw, even Love you name it, the quarterback. So I'm like, well, man, maybe it's more the offensive line than making these guys look good because, man, they had plenty of time to throw the football.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's like, that's oftentimes the solution, right? It's hard to go in and actually find 5 good players to play offensive line. Sometimes it's better just to get a good scheme to sort of hide them or to make them better from a schematic standpoint. And it's also one of the other things where you look at an Eagles team right now that's struggling. One thing that they can turn and focus on is the fact that they're very good at the line of scrimmage. So even though the Eagles, no A.J. Brown tonight, Jalen Hurts has that finger issue. In the secondary, they've been struggling all year, but they're dominant at the line of scrimmage. So if they go out and beat Tampa Bay, that probably is the reason why. And to your point, Blaine, like the offensive line and defensive lines, like they're hard to build, but once you have them, the spoils are huge.
Man, we sitting there, everybody watching, America's team, as they want to be called there, the Dallas Cowboys, and then just listening to Jerry Jones, and we all saw what happened to the team there. They got dismantled by Green Bay, a young up-and-coming team with a quarterback that's hot right now. Man, what do you think is going to happen there in Dallas as far as the head coach and even a lot of players, some of them free agents, but that you think is going to really happen here with Jerry Jones? Because in the interview, man, he was choked up and said it was the worst performance he's ever seen since he's been there. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I think it's tough, right? Because it's the league is different now than it was, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Back, Dak is probably a top 8 quarterback in the NFL comfortably, but back when Roethlisberger, Rivers, Brady, Manning, all those guys, were in the league, being a top 8 quarterback was different now than when all those guys were retired. Dak Prescott's a very good quarterback, but that doesn't mean he's perfect. And we saw yesterday that those imperfections are fairly palpable. And Dan Quinn, like his defensive scheme, those imperfections are palpable. So Dallas can run roughshod against the Washington Commanders and Sam Howell and the New York Giants and Daniel Jones and Tommy DeVito and that kind of thing. But when you go up against a great schemer like Matt LaFleur and a good up and coming quarterback like Jordan Love, you can get exposed. And when Dak does have his off game, can Dan Quinn, kind of compensate by having a great defensive performance? And what we found out yesterday is the answer is no.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was more disappointed with the defensive side of the ball than anything else. We're on with Eric Eager, Sumer Sports.
So you mentioned Green Bay beating Dallas. People have found all these. We all watched it with our own eyes. Jordan Love's throwing off his back foot and throwing these weird side arm things between people. He looked a lot like the guy he sat behind for a couple of years. Now, nobody's maybe got that guy's skill set, but you can tell he picked up a lot of habits watching Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and it also makes you appreciate now. I know that the regime is not necessarily as long-standing in Tennessee as it was in Green Bay, but it makes you like the Malik Willis pick, right? It makes you like the Will Levis pick. A lot of people in the NFL could have taken Will Levis where the Packers took Jordan Love just now, right? And let him sit. Like Minnesota could have taken Will Levis, behind Kirk Cousins. A lot of people are looking at Green Bay and saying, well, what the heck? They lucked out again. It's like, well, some of it's luck, but some of it's that team had the foresight to take a quarterback when they didn't need to, And, Tennessee, to their credit, with Tannehill there, took 2 quarterbacks when they didn't really need to. Now, I don't think either guy is going to end up being as good as Jordan Love, but good on Tennessee for trying. And I think that other teams are going to look at that, Jordan Love, they're going to look back at Patrick Mahomes, and now the Chiefs were more aggressive in getting Mahomes than the Packers were in getting Jordan Love. But I think a lot of these teams are going to look at those moves and say, gosh, man, looking at the success rate of picks historically in the draft 17 to 32, it's not that high, guys, right? So why not take a swing at a quarterback and look at the Packers and say, look, that's franchise altering if that guy hits after 2 or 3 years. Let's actually take a swing on a guy and stash him for a few years and see if we can't actually, set our franchise up for a decade.
Now, you mentioned the Titans taking those quarterbacks. None of us know what's going to happen with Malik Willis. We, could have seen the last of him. Maybe he'll get a chance to come back and compete as the backup. We're not sure. But what did you think of what you saw with Will Levis? You mentioned maybe not as good as Jordan Love. What did you think of Will Levis? Your evaluation of his performance, where does he need to get better in your eyes?
The one place he has to get better is he has to stop taking so many sacks, and that's something that when you look at quarterback statistics, and my former employer PFF, this is one. If I could tell any football fan what's one stat that you could automatically get smarter, go to PFF, look at what's called P2S, pressure to sack. How often does a quarterback take a pressure and turn it into a sack? Ryan Tannehill, who was phenomenal quarterback for the Titans, right? And I know he was a Pro Bowler in 2019, led the league in yards per pass attempts, took the team to the conference championship, had the Chiefs on the ropes, got a 1 seed in 2021, won the division in 2020 as well. He was a very good quarterback for this team. His basic weakness for the Titans was he just struggled taking sacks. Levis has the same problem. Whenever there's pressure, he just doesn't avoid sacks at a rate that is, basically below average. And it's been that way ever since he was at Kentucky. And if you're looking at the prospects in a draft, that is the one variable to look at. When Washington Commanders fans got really mad at me for saying, I don't think Sam Howell's the guy, that's exactly where I looked in his North Carolina data. That's where I looked in his first few starts in Washington. If Will Levis is going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, he's got all the tools. He's just got to avoid sacks a little bit better because those negative plays just kill an offense. And it carried over from his time in Kentucky to here.
Eric, I love that stat. But I wonder how much is calculated into that offensive line play or forcing the issue, then throwing a pick and then taking a sack, which was a smarter play, or throwing the ball away. I know throwing the ball away is not a sack, but in essence, it becomes a sack if you got rid of the ball. But you don't want to make mistakes. How much is that ingrained in quarterbacks? Hey, if you're going to take a sack, don't make a mistake. Just hold on to the ball.
Yeah, that's why it's not. You don't want to look at just raw sack rate, right? Because raw sack rate is affected by the line. You want to look at when they're pressured, because a lot of guys are pressured more because their line is bad. So you do want, like Dan Marino led the league in sacks taken the first 7 years of his career,
right?
But he had Richmond Webb. He had who is the guy? He had all these guys on his own, but he was great at sack avoidance. But he also was helped out by the fact his coach was Don Shula, and he had all these guys on his offensive line were also great. So you can't help sometimes if you're under pressure, but what you want to do is avoid the sacks when you're under pressure, and that's why that stat is better than just raw sack rate. Because to your point, the quarterback sometimes can't help the environment he's in.
Right, because I think Levis has real good pocket presence and maneuver in the pocket, and kept his eyes sometimes a little too much, but at the same time, especially a Vrabel type, I get back, Tannehill's was the same way, is that, hey, don't turn the ball over. That's what they'll keep hammering, especially these defensive-minded head coaches. So then they say, we'd rather take the sack than you turn the ball over and try to force an issue with pressure.
Exactly, and I think, And I think a lot of times those guys trust their strengths. I mean, one of the quarterbacks, you could look at historically is like Doug Williams. Doug Williams has less than a 50% completion percentage in his career, but all of his efficiency stats are above average, and his win percentage. He took Tampa Bay, the team that was once lost the first 20-something games in their history. He took them to the NFC Championship game. Why? He avoided negative plays, and he was able to move around. He was able to avoid negatives. And that was one of the he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in NFL history because of that. And again, passer rating misses that obviously because sacks are not in passer rating. So that's just a hidden statistic when you're looking at this guy looks like a good quarterback. Why is our offense not good? Or this guy's stats don't look all that great. Why is our offense efficient? You always look at that stat, and it'll probably tell you the story.
Give us another, before we let you go, another hidden stat. It doesn't have to be with the quarterback, but you think is very valuable in what you do.
For me, and this is one, and to also back up, sort of a player on the Titans is yards per route run. So when you look at efficiency from a wide receiver or tight end position, yards per route run is basically how many receiving yards a player gets divided by how often they're on the field running a pass pattern. This is, and I always have a hard time pronouncing his name, but this is why, Chig, the tight end for the Titans.
Yeah.
Okonkwo, but that's why, a lot of people, looked at the 2022 season for Okonkwo and said, this guy's going to be a good player. And he had a pretty good season this year, not maybe as efficient as people thought, but he was one of the sort of most efficient tight ends in 2022. He had 1.31 yards per route run last year, a pretty good number as well. And, to me, that's where if a guy's on the field a lot and he's not getting targeted, that means that his quarterback, when he's trying to get yards, is preferring other players, right? And if he has a high number there, that means when he's on the field, his quarterback wants to throw him the ball, or the coordinator is scheming up yards for him. To me, that is a huge number to look at. And the Titans, I think, have a hidden – well, he's not a hidden anymore because he is – I think he's out in the open now, but he's quite a good player.
What was D-Hop's numbers? Something like that.
D-Hop's number – historically has been very, very good. Let me look at this particular season because he had DeAndre Hopkins this season was 2.09, and anything over 2 is phenomenal.
Yep, that's what I because based off what you just told me, I was just making sure I was understanding it correctly. Yeah, there you have it.
Eric, hey, great stuff, man. People can follow Eric at @EricEager_Sumer Sports. He was talking about, and Blaine was talking about those simulations and breakdowns. If you are into stats, they stat it up like nobody. I get lost in that stuff. Fantastic work, Eric, and we hope everybody comes to check it all out soon.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Always good catching up with Double E. All right, when we come back, Blaine's got a guy. Blaine's guy, I just saw this come across Twitter. Blaine's guy had another good week. And Blaine's guy basically helped pull a rabbit out of his hat on Saturday. Blaine's guy. I'm going to tell you all about the good week that Blaine's guy had next. Your guy.
Who that?
It's your guy. It's coming up. Your guy had a good week.
Oh, my dog.
Come on back. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone, riding this crazy train through a snowy afternoon. Good to hang out with you on MLK Day today.
Yes, happy MLK Day. No doubt.
A lot of
Speaking
people
of that,
at home hanging out today, listening to the show.
Yeah. Since we were talking about I Have a Dream, who is your dream Tennessee Titans head coach?
Out of the candidates or just out of anybody?
Out of anybody. Your dream is a dream.
Oh.
It is a dream. And you only get one shot. You can't be saying multiple people. Who is your dream coach? It could be Andy Reid if all I care. He's not available, but who's your dream? Dream Tennessee Titan head coach. Best in the business is available. Yeah, Bill Belichick. It could be a dream.
Isn't it crazy, though? I think if you just went around and I'll get to your boy had a good week, I'll tell you. If we just said, if we could actually get out the door here, there's a million fire trucks next door, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Please be careful out there. It is not fit for man or beast, I promise you. And bring your dog in if you haven't. Please bring your dog in, any of your pets. If we just went down Broadway and said, hey, everybody from Nashville, come here. You got interest in the Titans. I wonder if we said, you can have Bill Belichick, the greatest coach in, some would say NFL history, maybe modern NFL history. If you want to say, well, give me, Vince Lombardi or give me Paul Brown. But modern NFL history. In the last, 50-plus years, if you want to say since the merger, because Vince Lombardi had basically done all his work by 1970. So if you want to say in the last 50-something years, the best coach, unquestionable, Bill Belichick. Now, he had Tom Brady, but he had Tom Brady. And he was smart enough to get out of his way enough to let whatever he did. I don't know how many people would want him.
No, I know. That's what I just said. Who is your dream coach? It's how you feel.
Because I think if we went and asked college fans, like Nick Saban's available, I think almost anybody from any college would be like, I take Nick Saban right now.
Oh, yeah.
Over my guy.
Yeah. I'm so crazy. I still don't think Nick Saban's going to retire. I think he's going to coach in the NFL. What's one thing he hasn't conquered? The NFL. That's why I say it. But I know I'm wrong. Everybody says there's no way, no how. But, hey, man, I don't know. Those guys are super driven like that, and they're just different, man.
Sue Ann's already into your line. She goes, Blaine, right? A dream is a dream. Andy Reid is my dream coach.
Ooh.
Tighten up Tony in the F&N Bank chat. Shout out to everybody watching on Zone TV today. Andy Reid. Andy Reid would be hard to top. When you brought this up before the show, and I thought, man, it'd be hard to say no to Andy Reid.
Andy Reid is just, he's the greatest, man. You feel no pressure when you play with Andy Reid. He takes all the hits. I mean, man, he is a fun guy to play with. I'm serious about that. And I think players, they just connect and resonate with him. Whether you're playing good or bad, he'll come over to you, man, be like, hey, man, what's going on, man? And he'll say something funny to you like, did your wife not cook you dinner or something? I mean, he would just, and just kind of get you relaxed and just, he's just one of those good old, hey, man, come on, give me a hug, man. Give me a hug. Then he's real. He cried in the locker room. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, dang, man, you got me all choked up over here. Because, we gave an effort and played at a level he never thought we could do. I mean, he was just, he was just a good old guy, man. You could just tell, man. And he loves it, and he's having fun. And it wasn't about him. And, that Philly media went after him, boy, all the time. And we were 13-3. So, yeah, I have a lot of mutual respect for him. He might be my pick. But, I was asking the fans.
Emmett said Bill Walsh in the chat.
Bill
gosh.
Wow. Wow. Great.
I loved me
West
Bill
Coast
Walsh.
offense. Yeah.
John L. says Don Shula.
Ooh.
Don Shula's still the GOAT. He's got more wins than anybody. That's who Belichick's chasing.
When I was growing up, the Killer Bees, their defense.
Yep.
But by the way, a lot of people don't know this. A guy that went to my high school played for the Dolphins in their heyday. Mark Clayton went to my high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that one. You've told me about all these guys.
Yeah, Mark Clayton, man. Yeah, he used to, they say he used to come in the gym. He's not a tall guy. And they said when he was in high school, he was up there 360 dunking.
Mark
I was
Clayton
like,
and Mark
what?
Duper,
Yeah.
the Marks brothers.
Yeah, that Marks, but even though they weren't brothers.
I know.
Yeah. So, it's just, man, there's a lot of great ones out there, but maybe I should couch it to modern era. I think that's what you said, yeah.
Marv Levy, Emmett, I think it says Mark Levy, but I know he meant Marv.
Yeah.
Bruce says Tom Landry.
Oh, man, you know what? That was my favorite coach.
That was your
growing up as a
guy.
kid. Yeah, I was a Cowboys fan growing up as a kid because I played for the Little League Cowboys. So, naturally, the Colts weren't existing there in Indianapolis at the time. They were in Baltimore. That was a team that played between them and the Bears were always on TVs in Indianapolis when I was a kid, 10, 11, 12.
Dylan says Jimmy Johnson. Scary Harry says Ditka.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man, you get them people's feelings now. I mean, dream coach, anybody to come coach this team. And the Bill Walsh thing.
No, he was, and they dominated. And his tree is almost Andy Reid-esque.
Yep.
And I can go down and name some Andy Reid guys. I know Shanahan tree is getting way out there now. So that may be the only one that could usurp that. But, yeah. Yeah, McDermott's on Andy Reid's tree. He was there when I was there. Rivera, Leslie Frazier, John Harbaugh. Who else was there? Dang it. I know I'm forgetting some big name, too.
Spags.
Spagnuolo. but he's not a head coach. But, yes, he got an opportunity to do so well with the Rams. He was the head coach of the Rams. The OC, I can't remember his name. Wow, man. So, yeah, they've had guys all over the place. His tree was pretty big. But Andy Reid came from somewhat the West Coast. He was part of we seeing Mariucci and all those guys. They were all there with Green Bay and all they were all part of that. Oh, there go McDermott right there.
All right, Joey Banana says we got to take a break. Your guy, Dalton Knecht, SEC Player of the Week again.
I love me some Dalton Knecht.
They look dead and buried at Georgia. They were down 11 with about 7 minutes left?
Yeah.
It looked exactly like the Mississippi State game, close to it.
Except he finished this time.
Boy, what they was it like 20-4 their final run or something?
I think it was 23 or 24-3 or something like that. It was something ridiculous.
That dude averaged 32 points a game last week. I know you liked him since the beginning of the season. Hey, man, this guy was hooping at Northern Colorado. Can you imagine those guys he was playing against? And there's good basketball players at every level. Mm-hmm. This guy's SEC Player of the Week caliber player on a top, 3 team, let's just say.
He's going to get Player of the Year in the SEC.
He's averaging over 31 points a game on the road.
I don't even care about that. I'm just talking about this dude is long, athletic, can shoot, take it off the bounce. Man, it is not too much weakness. And then he stepped it up now. He's figuring out how to play in the SEC because it's a lot different than, those other games that he's playing in.
In real time, this dude is evolving in front of us. I know that's your guy. I had to shout him out and shout out that game because that was literally Joey Bananas level on Saturday. All right, it's Bananas. We got a whole nother hour to do this. Open phone lines. We're here. Phone lines are open. 615-737-1045. There's an article that was not taken very kindly about the Tennessee Titans and Miss Amy. Ooh, boy, we're going to get into that next.
Florio.
Mm-hmm. Florio.
Stinky, stinky, stinky. Is that what it was like the last time you were at an auto repair shop? Smelly, greasy old rags laying around all over the place? A countertop that would not dare touch? Another thing that stinks is the repair shops that keep your car forever and they're not honest. And they don't call you back when they say they will. Was that the last time you experienced at a vehicle repair shop? Well, hey, it's Blaine Biss to tell you about Eurofix. Eurofix takes the stink out of European auto repair. And at Eurofix, you get a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection with an estimate at every visit. No high-pressure sales tactics. And at Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. You never pay dealer pricing. And at Eurofix, they're located in Franklin, Hundred Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now Mount Juliet. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can just visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But always tell them Blaine's a jerk.
Life is busy. We could all use some extra time in our day, which is exactly why Two Rivers Ford offers mobile service. We'll bring the service to your driveway at no additional charge. Oil changes, brakes, batteries, the certified technicians at Two Rivers will perform basic maintenance on your vehicle wherever you are, so you'll have more time for moments like this. Schedule your mobile service appointment by scanning the QR code or calling Two Rivers Ford today.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Going to do Ding Dong of the Week coming up next segment. There's some ding dongery going on in Buffalo that we'll get to coming up. Just saw a video of two dudes sitting in their seats. They were completely surrounded by snow. It's a $1 billion industry, and they didn't get the stadium dug out. Field's clean. Stands are still full of snow. People about to be fighting, elbowing, throwing snow at each other. This is going to be bonkers coming up. The game will be live here on the Zone, too.
Right. I was going to put out that question, who's your dream coach for the Titans, if you wanted to. But I'm going to start my ding dong because you just said it for me. The NFL and whoever made the decision to have this game in this stadium are ding dongs. And I'm going to give you my reasons why. I know it's going to be fun for a lot of those fans there in Buffalo. They, first of all, start off and said, we're going to pay you $20 to shovel the snow out of the seats. $20, the NFL. Y'all can't get anybody there to clean out that freaking stadium? The biggest, baddest, the richest sport in the world? Oh, well, maybe I'm wrong on the world. Maybe, some of these soccer
Our part
teams.
of the world for sure.
Right. At Buffalo. Then we're talking about how dangerous it can be if it's not cleaned up correctly and it's a lot of snow out there and the people who are there who could slip and fall. We're talking about people going to be drinking. Let's be honest. Let alone the players is a little bit different. They look like they got the field looking really good. I got to give them credit for that, but there's no heater system underneath there. So there's a huge risk there from a fan's perspective to me. And then they talk about safety, not only for the players, but we're talking about the fans. So I just thought that, man, they should have just moved this game. And I know sometimes you want the elements to be part of the game, or they could delay it again. But, man, if nobody's there, what is that going to look like, let alone, if somebody gets drastically hurt out here on this brick that they're about to be playing on. And I'm going to say this. I played in Green Bay on Lambeau Field, and that thing was hard as a rock in the snow, pouring down snow. It took years off my life. I promise you that. When I'm sitting here talking, I'm talking about internally I'm 80. Yeah, I mean that. And just from that game alone, it was just, oh, my gosh. I mean, it was like hitting something that doesn't move. So when you playing in the game and you trying not to fall down, that's not good either. Yeah. I'm trying not to fall down. Then I'm like, dang, man, I can't even run on this. My cleats are all jacked up. I can't even run on this. That's what it was like.
So were you doing the thing where, like, try the littler cleats, try the bigger cleats, because they got the different ones they can screw in and out, right?
No, I already was wearing the littlest of the little.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. They were just knobs.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I fell down one time, hit that ground. I was like, oh, my, that freaking hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Like you felt like you got hit by somebody.
The ground.
Yeah.
The 12th man that day was like the ground. You got a shot from the 12th man.
Mud, steel. It was insane. It was insane, man.
Article from Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com. He starts the article and gets into this whole thing about it says, most fascinating aspects of pro football. Businesses that are skyrocketing towards 10 figures in value are still run like mom and pop stores. Like, well, he didn't mention the Bills, but like them running an ad locally saying $20 and all you can eat if you want to come shovel the stadium. And they didn't get halfway done in $1 billion industry. So then he goes into this thing about how people acquire pro football teams. When pop dies, mom or son or daughter or nephew, somebody else in the family takes over. Again, this is not new, but he's writing it like he's the first guy to figure this stuff out. Happens around the league. He goes on and on and on. And he says the latest example of people who run NFL teams not necessarily having the skills to run an NFL team comes from Tennessee, where a decision was made this week to fire head coach Mike Vrabel. The decision came from Amy Adams Strunk. She's the daughter of Bud Adams, whose estate plan, he said, split the team between three branches of the family, but inexplicably failed to give one of them control over the team. So he goes on and on and on about how things got sideways, and neither of this has a thing, he says, to do with how Vrabel coaches a football team. And then he goes into some other things about how great Mike Vrabel is. And it goes on and on and on. But he takes a big shot at Amy Adams Strunk. So we're about a week out now from this deal. It happened a week from tomorrow. Happened on Tuesday, right around 11 o'clock last week. So today's Monday. By the way, it's still snowing outside if you haven't looked out the window lately. Be careful out there. Now, a lot of what came out early on felt like it came from Boston. They really like him. What a great weekend. Literally, I guess none of those people knew that it was built into Gerard Mayo's contract. He was going to be the next guy. So there's some stuff out of Boston. Didn't talk much about that. Then that kind of dies down. Then everything that starts coming out is power structure's bad. GM maybe not qualified. Maybe he was, the NFL kind of helped push that higher, or did, according to some of those stories. And the head coach isn't happy, and the head coach wants more power. And we all thought, well, he seems to have quite a bit of power. He wanted power struggle with the last general manager. But everything pointed at
this is all before he's still the coach.
Still the coach. Everything that came out pointed to essentially an unworkable situation between the head coach and the team. It's just not workable. It's just not a good situation. Nobody could work in this situation. It's not a good situation. So then he gets fired. Mike Vrabel gets fired. And here comes the Rossini and Rexrod article about all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, right? Big, long, athletic, that he wanted all the power, and the team wanted more collaboration. They wanted more analytical type stuff, and they wanted everybody to be on the same page, and everybody wasn't on the same page, and that the owner had seen her dad let the coach win a power struggle and make all the decisions, and the GM go away, talking about Jeff and Floyd, and said, no, I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that. Maybe about some lingering hard feelings about the trip to New England and what got said up there. Nobody resolving that. But
losing to the Texans twice and once in the Oilers uniform.
Losing to the Texans. In the most recent loss to the Texans. And even something that said she even considered firing him after last year because of the way the season ended. But realized, and this is Rex Roden Rossini's reporting, he's a good coach. This is worth trying to salvage. But there's still national narrative coming out, just burying the Titans for making this decision and burying her for making the decision. Still just getting killed for it. This is, you can find it anywhere. Pro Football Talk. I found it on their Twitter. It's everywhere. You can read the report.
Well, it seems like, you heard from one side of it, and I'm going to just say Vrabel's camp. And then as time went on, you start hearing from Titans camp, especially after he was fired. They had to defend themselves because they didn't want to play with the media. But I think also what you didn't mention in there, I don't think they liked their dirty laundry leaked out to the public. Whether it was true or not, that's not being a pro's pro. So I think Vrabel kind of backed them into a corner, and he was either saying, I'm going to get my way, and if I don't, then I'm out, and my reputation will carry me to my next job. And as I said before, billionaires always win. The millionaires don't win. So we shall see where he ends up. But the reputation now is going to be out there on Vrabel that he wants full autonomy, even if he comes back and which he did already, and say that he just wants to be the coach. He wanted power. I don't think he deserved that right to be in position to have that kind of power. To me, you got to at least have one Super Bowl. I'm going to just say appearance. Let's just say that. And for you to consider that's just my opinion. If I was the owner, I would probably start saying, okay, but if we're winning the way we are, why can't we just leave it the same? He didn't want to be that way because he wanted to go old school way, and the head coach has full autonomy over everything that happens, probably with the entire organization, to be honest, not just the football side of it. That's kind of how I took that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Because he did have autonomy. He did the free agent and the draft. He was part of those drafts and was making those decisions. So the last one. So it's just more noise to, put out there from Vrabel. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up and what position he's in, if he does have full control, or is he just, the football coach. Because I think he's a real good, solid football coach. There's no doubt about that. We don't have to sit here and explain that. But I do not put him in the plane of being exceptional and great. So we must not forget, Vrabel didn't build this team. John Robinson did. So as much as we can throw John Robinson under the bus, he did a good job with those players and got them to the next level. Now, has he ever been part of a rebuild? He said he didn't want to be. He said these things. And I think that's what really this turned the page, is he didn't want to rebuild before this season started, and he thought he could continue what he was doing, and he believed it. And, of course, if you say that, you believe it as a coach. And it didn't go that way. And I think Rand, just a guess, was on the other side of that, but say, hey, look, I'm going to support you throughout this process and give you what you need.
Yep.
And I think it found out that, he was right. So now, you just continue to hear the dirt here from different national reporters. And I call them, pawns, because to me, if you're a national reporter, you're supposed to do second and third opinions from both perspectives before you even write an article. That's just me, because I wouldn't want to be putting information out there that's not in totality accurate. So that's the difference between being a writer, a national guy, to somebody just being on radio. We can guesstimate based off all the information we're getting. So, that's, he has, 2 AFC championship game appearances. Yes, he does. With that team that was built by John Robinson. So people act like he built it. But see, he didn't. Now, did John Robinson then hurt him in the process after that? Yeah. And then we saw what we got. So, yeah, it goes 2 ways now. You can't just have it one way. And then he made choices here in the end. So, and who's to know? Watch this. Amy didn't tell him to draft Will Levis. Who's to know if she did say that? See? Because I believe he's a Tannehill backer. So I don't think he was going to ever get it. If he thought he still had the dudes, he was never going that direction.
Well, let's go this direction. Pick this up on the other side. Lots of people talking about this in the F&M Bank chat. You want to jump on the line. Ryan from the Borough is waiting, 615-737-1045. You got a ding-dong for us. It's Monday. We always do ding-dong of the week. We'll start slipping in some ding-dongs as well. It is a snowy Monday in Nashville, but we're right here with you, actually leading up to professional football playoffs. The Bills and the Steelers coming up here on the Zone next, but not until we finish, and we got 45 more minutes.
Here come them Bills. Let's roll.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Ring a ding, ding, dong. Don't be a ding dong out when you're driving today. Remember, don't get in a hurry or do anything crazy. I would also say don't get out unless you have to. Like if you do a radio show, you got to get out. But if you don't got to get out, then don't get out. That would be my advice to you. Also, got a house to sell. My man Mark Spain is there for you. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Don't be a ding dong. Use Mark Spain. Remember, you don't have to remodel the kitchen or anything. His crew just comes in and makes all your dreams come true. Mark Spain.
Breaking news. Yeah, Caleb Williams, he filed for the NFL draft. I guess that was not in doubt, right?
He
was trying to tell people he would go to Chicago.
Well, there was a fake report that came out sometime late last week saying that Caleb Williams threatens to not enter NFL draft if the Bears stay at number 1. It was fake, but it got a lot of traction. But
I think it got traction because remember a year ago or so, there was a genuine talk that he might just stick around.
Yeah. Because his dad, it was what his dad said. If they don't like the number 1 overall pick, they'll stay in college. Yeah.
Are you kidding me, man?
All right. Do you think that the Chicago Bears are playing cat and mouse here? Because they kept their coach. So would the coach want a new quarterback? Or would you think he was like, hey, man, I support this guy. Well, he's getting better each and every, game that he plays. And, it could be two sides to the story. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is their play here? Maybe they're just trying to get draft picks or people to move up. Or are they really going to take Caleb Williams?
I think the Bears are in a beautiful position.
Oh, no, they are. That's no doubt.
Because
beautiful.
If you stick with Justin Fields, the way he played this year and the way he's progressed in his career, he's starting to look more and more like an NFL quarterback and someone that you can build a franchise around.
They won 4 of their last 6.
Right. Well, they finished 7-9, right? Or
7 and 10.
But if they decide they want to start over, you got the first overall pick. Go ahead and get your next franchise guy. Unload Justin Fields somewhere that really needs a quarterback. Atlanta, the Raiders.
You named 2 places don't have their coach. What if the coach doesn't like those guys?
True. And so, but this is where I think that they can wait, and they can wait as long as they want because they have all the power here.
Yeah,
because they can make whatever decision they want, and it's not going to be a wrong decision, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they just believe that they start the clock over, then Fields has been in the league 3 years now, so he's going on year 4. So if you want to that means he's about to get an extension. I don't know if they ready for that after this coming season.
Well, you have to pick up his
5th year option.
You have to pick up his 5th year option this year. So literally, you either have to commit to him for 2 more years or cut bait.
That's
2 more years. Or cut bait.
Watch this. I'm going to tell you how the coach thinks. How can I prolong me being the head coach?
Get another quarterback. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, so there's the 2 ways of thinking on this right here. And it's just kind of interesting to see where this goes, man. They may think he's a better quarterback, too, anyway, and they don't have to, growing him into a quarterback. But you've gone this far with Fields, who keeps showing signs. You're like, ooh, he's almost there. And then you say, but this guy right here, he's already got it. Now, I've listened to a lot of people analyze Caleb Williams. They say he doesn't throw on platform on time all the time in college. So that's somewhat like Fields. I go, what? So I haven't watched the guy.
It's the Spider-Man thing where they're pointing at each other.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow. I don't think he's a better runner than Fields. So if he's not going on time, on rhythm throws, then what is he better than? He got a better arm? I see it brings up all these stuff, and I haven't watched him, like that. Besides him winning,
And with the Bears, they have 2 top 10 picks now? Because they have the first overall from the Panthers, and then they have their own, which I think is 9th?
Playing poorly.
8th, something right? 9th, I think. But what they could do is if they decide to keep Fields, they could trade out of that number 1 to maybe, I don't know, number 4, number 5.
They have 1 and 9.
They can go get Marvin Harrison, and at 9, they can turn around and get the best player available.
Ooh.
Think about that.
Emmett Jones just said, they fired their offensive coordinator, though. Lou Getsy and the head coach is defensive-minded, correct? Eberflus? I think he's more of a defensive guy. I don't know why I think that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Our crack research team of Bananas may have to look that up. Hey, man, somebody really wants Fields. If you don't think Fields is like a generational guy, like if you scouted him and all your scouting metrics say this is a completely different world than what Justin Fields is. If you don't, Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
If you have scouts who are like, he's the next Stroud, he's the next Mahomes, whatever you think he is.
Mm-hmm.
If they're like, well, we really like this, but there's this and there's this. They're always going to have questions. But if you don't think he's some generational guy, Bananas hit the nail on the head. Somebody else does.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, it's going to cost you another number one and another number one and then a second. And you can just name your price. Like you said, you're already picking 9.
But see, I'm the guy on the other side. I go, well, why you getting rid of him if he's so good? You just told me all the things he's good at. Why are you getting rid of him?
Oh, no, I'm saying, well, I'm not drafting. I'm staying with my guy.
Right.
Well, I don't draft Williams.
But if you trade him, I'm like, man, I would be somewhat like,
Oh, no,
are we missing something?
Well, because no one who's trading up to that number one is going to be like, oh, there must be something wrong with Caleb Williams if the Bears don't want him. No, the Bears have.
Oh, no,
the
I'm
guy
talking
they
about
think.
Fields.
Yeah, he's talking about you decide to unload Fields. Teams are like,
I'm talking about,
but what's wrong with him?
I mean, at that point, just do the reverse. Be like, oh, we think Caleb Williams will be better. Like, there's nothing wrong with Fields. We just think Caleb Williams will be better.
Don't want him.
And none of these other teams can be like, well, we don't want Fields because you think Caleb Williams is better, because they're not going to have a chance at Caleb Williams if they're not at the number one overall spot. So, I mean, that's why they are.
But we remember now, all these scouts and coaches have scouted Williams and they scouted Fields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then they're going to be like, well, what is he better at? Like there's going to be a paranoia that we missed something with Fields. It's just going to happen. So I don't know if the value is going to be what people think. Like I don't. If they trade Fields, I'll be interested to see if they get a first round.
They probably won't get a ton of.
They may get a 2 and a 3.
Fields.
Yeah. But if I liked my quarterback and I could trade out of one,
Right.
or if I didn't, and I thought, okay, well, then I'm going to go and I'm going to draft Caleb Williams and I'll trade this guy. If I got a 2 and a 3, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to have to pay him if he stayed anyway. Now, I don't
Right.
even,
And if you think they're somewhat the same, they just showed highlights of them right now.
everything we've talked about today has come on this TV. This
But
must be the smartest
now,
TV
now just
ever.
think about every throw that he's made. Oh, they just stopped. Did he make them on time? Like 1, 2, 3, back foot down, let it fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back foot down, let it go. That's the NFL.
And you know what's
Because guys
crazy?
get there that fast.
Because we were
I'm
talking
pretty
about this
sure he's
earlier.
more like a drop back, scan, run around a little bit.
That's
and
what
then-
I said.
and then
That's what
go,
they said.
yeah.
I had no idea. I thought he was kind of more pocketier than I expected. I thought he was a little bit more than that. They
And-
said, no, he throws off time.
The guy we were talking about to start the show in college, I thought was the best at doing that was Tua, where he just took his drop and then threw the
he
ball,
was.
and some guy would run right through the ball and catch it. Guys never had to dive to catch
Yeah.
it or jump to catch
I
it.
agree.
He's
I
the
agree.
best rhythm thrower in college
Oh,
I
he
ever
threw
saw.
That, that slant route at Alabama when he was there. Oh, that was
It was a thing of
that,
beauty.
that was
Yeah.
the most
The
perfect
national
play
championship, the
you've
look
ever
off
seen.
on the safety. That was NFL-esque.
All right, we can't be ding dongs. Let's take Eric's ding dong call.
And
What's
he
up,
just
Eric?
average in the pro.
Hey, guys. First of all, I want to say happy MLK Day to you guys.
Yes,
guys,
sir.
I hope you're staying warm and safe, and also be careful going home. I'm hoping that y'all guys don't get stranded anywhere. Hope you get home
We
safe.
hope so too, man.
Man.
Hey, guys, my ding dong, and I bet you I wasn't about to say it's taking one of y'all's, but I've got to say it, guys. My ding dong has got to go to ESPN for this whole Emmy scandal. It is so hilarious. The fact that they had to return 37 Emmy Awards. It went on from 2010 to 2023, and there's a report they had to admit that it could go back as far as 1997, which is 26 years. I mean, they were writing names on Emmys. It was primarily for the college game day show, used names like Dirk Howard for Desmond Howard, Kirk Henry for Kirk Herbstreit, to give an example. It is just so hilarious. And to me, guys, what makes it far worse is this. ESPN is a sports network. I don't want to get into the political, social stuff, but, of course, they took stances on political and social issues and told people how they should think and how they should act. And you're saying that when you've been for years stealing Emmy Awards? I mean, how disgusting is that? Guys, that's my ding dong. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Eric.
Give me the 411. What happened here? I saw this
Yeah,
on somewhere on social media, and I was like, what?
I'm out of the loop here. I don't know what he's
Yeah, they were
talking
talking about
So you couldn't, I guess, win a show couldn't win an Emmy, and then the people on the show that like the shows couldn't double down, so they were like changing people's names. Like he said, Kirk Herbwell and Lee Clarkston instead of Lee Corso. They were submitting fake names.
Oh my!
Even like Shelley Smith, she got called. A bunch of them wouldn't talk when I guess the Associated Press or whoever did the story. I would credit, but I don't remember who broke it. But they called Shelley Smith, and she's like, yeah, I just found out because I won 2 of them. I just found out one of them I didn't win. It was fake. They submitted some other name and then gave me an award for game day. And Linda Cohn, they figured out she wouldn't answer to them, but she said she posted like 4th Emmy, so proud. And she had really won 2. 2 of them were fake. She didn't know that until they published the story. They didn't know a lot of them. They thought they were just getting Emmys for their work. So that the talent weren't behind it. Like Herb Street wasn't cheating to get them. The company was cheating to get them.
Right. So they could get more Emmys.
More Emmys because part of the story said they had one of like the senior VP of program or whatever. His whole thing was how many Emmys they won. So they were just falsifying names, winning all these Emmys.
That's terrible.
That
is awful.
It's an unbelievable story. If you haven't read it's worth 5 minutes to read the whole story, that this is a real thing that happened. And some of the responses were like, we got homeless people and other bigger things to worry about, and I totally get that. But what they did was wrong. And it's unbelievable the lengths they went to make it happen. Mine, just real quick, the officials took center stage a lot this weekend. I know the whole world's watching. But I have this pulled up on my phone, a Rams linebacker jumping off sides against the Lions, and the Lions like standing up and pointing at him. It was, 4th and 4, and they pulled him off sides, and the officials said, oh, no, that was a false start on the Lions. He wasn't offside. Like, to miss that goes back to what was it, it's the USXFL now, but the
UFL.
One UFL had the eye in the sky, and he would have immediately said, no. You got that wrong. Fix it. It's a first down. Just the guy watching the monitors doesn't slow the game down. Just, guys, you missed that. He jumped off sides. I don't know how many of them are out there, Blaine? 11? How many officials? There's a whole gang of them. I don't know how all of you missed that. Double-digit of you, but all of you missed it. That's a first down. Keep it moving.
Could also go with Sean McVay in that game using 2 timeouts within the first 5 minutes of the second half. And then not having any timeouts to try and stop the clock there at the end when they just needed one play the Lions just needed one play. That would have been a good one. But mine is going to go to the Boston news cycle for the throwing out of Vrabel Kraft and all the Patriots organization wanting Vrabel to be the next head coach when Gerard Mayo had it written in his contract that he was going to take over for Bill Belichick. Nobody reported that. Nobody knew about it. And so it tricked us. I feel like it could have possibly tricked Vrabel's camp. It could have tricked all of New England fans. It tricked a lot of people because I don't think anyone expected that part of the story to come out that it was pre-planned for over a year for Gerard Mayo to take over.
DC Cashville says the ding-dong for all of Chiefs fans, including Taylor Swift, trying to swag surf. HBCUs were clowning them, he said.
Oh, man. They tried.
They tried hard.
It looked like it was some old sweets because those windows was fogged up.
Boy, it looked like she was shooting a cover of a Christmas album. Sitting there with a drink, looking through the frost.
Yeah, that was pretty cool what they did with the Jackets. The guy did it for Detroit, too. His wife, what's the guy that plays for the 49ers?
Juszczyk.
Yeah, Juszczyk, yeah. That was pretty unique.
Made her a jacket.
Yeah.
Made Mahomes' wife a jacket.
Well, they had with the celebrity with Detroit Lions had one on, too, as well.
Oh, she was making bang then. Everybody's going to be ordering one of those things.
Juszczyk should earn Husband of the Year because every video, every tweet regarding any of those clothing items, jackets or anything, he was tagging her. He was saying, my wife did this. He was showing her off.
Man, you know what was interesting? Because I saw Nike was on the thing, and I go, well, how could did they add that without permission from Nike? How does that work?
Well, it's because she used the cut-up jerseys. So it's still the Nike product. It's just her.
I know, but did they give them permission is what I'm asking.
I don't think you have to have permission to cut it up. Like if you created like a whole new thing and then put the logo on it, but because she used I guess she recycled old
Right. She bought
jerseys.
the jersey.
She bought the jersey and then she
cut it to
recycled the
pieces.
jersey.
Right. And then put it on their brand and then advertised it as though this is a brand.
So what Nike will do is we'll just start making them ourselves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We'll make
That's what I did
100,000
there.
of them. Everybody gets one.
And
They're
They'll
not gonna get no credit. They're not gonna get
No.
nothing for that. You did all the hard work for us.
You're going to have to hire her basically to be a designer now. If she, hey, she's going to have to get use checks agent, get Nike on the phone before they start mass producing these. They're going to sell 50,000 of these by Christmas next year.
Those are pretty sweet. Because I was like, dang, man, where'd she get that jacket? Swift, when she was coming in, I'm like, that's cool. That's like, she must be marketing something. That's what I thought. Because I said, I'd never seen that jacket before.
Yeah.
And then come to find out she was.
Yeah. That thing was sweet. We got one more segment. That's pretty sweet. And we'll do it next. And we got Ryan and we got Richard. Hold on. Straight to you guys. I promise you when we come back, you want to join them on the phone, 615-737-1045.
If someone hasn't asked you already, maybe you've asked yourself, what's my resolution for 2024? Well, luckily for you, thanks to the team at Cool Ray Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical, I've got some great ideas for how you can take care of yourself and your home better this year. So maybe you want to be better about saving money? Well, consider a $69 tune-up on your home's heating system so you can ensure your HVAC system operates at the highest efficiency, especially when it's super cold like it is here in Nashville right now. And maybe you want to be better about taking care of your health. Well, if you're stocking the fridge and freezer with good food because you're hoping to eat better, don't let the next power outage from a storm spoil the food. So get a free estimate on a whole home generator from Cool Ray's electrical team. So find the next resolution you can stick to this year and schedule your next visit for any of your services here at CoolRay.com. That's CoolRay.com.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 Zone. Got, I don't know, like 7 or 8 minutes. We got time to take all these phone calls. Ryan is up first, 615-737-1045. Hey, Ryan.
What's up, fellas? Man, I had to start off with my ding-dong.
Yeah, hit us with a ding-dong.
Man, Jameis Winston, when you're in victory formation, you're telling the other team that, hey, we're going to go easy on you. We're going to, let the clock run out. It's going to be over. So don't advance our quarterback, right? So what's going to happen next year when they get in a victory formation, and especially if it's, the opposite team that they just did this to, what happens? They're going to knock their quarterback out. Say, hey, man, we don't believe you, right? Because last time you did this to us, you showed no sportsmanship. So that's that. My other one that I wanted to comment on was Amy Adams-Strunk. So Mike Keith asked Amy a question. He said, who's going to have control over the football team? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be Rand? Is it going to be the head coach? The answer she gave to me was unacceptable. She said, we're going to make that decision after we hire the head coach. Why?
Or they asked what was the vision, right? The vision.
Well, it was just who you're going to give power to. That's what the final decisions over the personnel, is it going to be you? Is it going to be Rand? Or is it going to be the head coach? That was a specific question. Mm-hmm. And her response was, I'm not prepared to answer that question. And my question to Amy is, why not? Why aren't you prepared to answer that question? It's an extremely important question. A lot of people feel like you just fired the head coach because he wanted too much control. So what are you saying? Are you saying it depends on what head coach you get in here and how good he is and how good his staff is before you make that decision? And it's going to be different depending on who you hire. Why can't you answer that question on the front end? And that's my question.
Thank you, Ryan, for the phone call.
Well, for me, what did you think about that?
I understand her not wanting to overplay her hand. Because what if you wanted to hire Bill Belichick?
Right. That's why I say. I thought you played it right. Whether you like it or like the answer or not, you don't want to back yourself into a corner.
Right.
You could have easily said, my vision is we want to win a Super Bowl and just leave it at that.
Right.
That's easy.
At some point, now I'm not saying now, but once the coach is fired, I think that a lot of people are going to question her about who the head coach is answering to, because that seems to be the root of the issue between Vrabel and her and Carthon. And so a lot of people are going to be asking about that. And I think it is a fair question just based on how the Vrabel situation played out at the end.
I'm going to say this. She's the owner.
Yeah, I'm not saying she has to answer.
No. All buck stops with her. So who do you think it is to? Come on, y'all. We acting like ding-dongs here. Really? It starts with her. Period. Who you think she answered to? You talking to him. It's not that hard. Who you think that she? You think she gonna answer to the coach?
No.
Right. See, that's why. See, this is. I don't follow what people think. All I do is just use common sense. She's the answer. She just didn't want to say that because guess what? Like you said, she didn't want to back herself in the corner because she may end up hiring a coach who she may give somewhat of that power.
To. Yeah.
See, that's why it was smart on her part. See, that's why I said I looked at it totally different. Because, see, only people who've had power or at the top of the chain know how it should be. You didn't want to, besides that, you hear what I said? Let's win a Super Bowl. Win a Super Bowl. That's what means that's it. Because guess what? If I go hire Joe over here, he may say, hey, I want to do this, this, and this. And I go, all right, you know what? I liked you so much, I will back you. Mm-hmm. And now it's on you, bro.
If you hire a younger guy like, I don't know, Bobby Slowick.
You may not give him as much.
Hey, man. See, the scales have different ways they can land.
Right. You got to have accountability where she's learning on the head coach. You got to answer to somebody. Who you think it is?
Amy. Let's squeeze in these last couple of phone calls. Richard with next up in line here. Hey, Richard.
Hey, guys. Not being prepared to answer the question doesn't mean you don't know the answer.
You're
correct. Just not prepared to publicize it. And I think this is just my guess, is that the coach is going to report to Rand, and Rand is going to report to Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as I'm going to bury the Vrabel thing. Vrabel, the national media is trying to make him out to be a made man. He's not a made man. Pete Carroll's a made man. Belichick's a made man. Andy Reid, Tomlin are made men. Vrabel in 6 years has gone to one AFC championship game. One. The last 2 years have been losing seasons. So he's not a made man.
Hey, Richard, we're short on time, man. Thank you for the call. Certainly understand the point that he's making there. Let's get one more here. LC and Mount Juliet. I think LC wanted to offer a final ding-dong to this program.
Yes, sir, I did. Thanks for taking my call. I got two real quick ones. I'll make them quick. The first ding-dong was the female reporter that asked Jerry Jones the question. Jerry Jones had just told her that was one of the most disappointing, confusing games that he had ever been through. And her next question was, where's this rank on your playoff list? Losses. He just told you where it was the most. If you guys get a chance, play that back and listen to it. I was like, I heard that and I was like, wasn't you listening to what he just said? And the other ding dong is the officials again in that Kansas City game. When you have a player that has equipment problems like that helmet, he's got to come off for one play or you have to take a timeout. And they did everything they could to keep him in the game, put another helmet on him, and run him right back in there. And I was like, wait a minute, he's got to sit out a play, or they've got to take a timeout. Hey. And the officials didn't make him do that.
LC, we got to take a permanent timeout because it's time for 3H. Well, it's actually time for football, not 3HL.
Oh, that's right.
NFL football right here. Ron Slay's out throwing snowballs at somebody right now. He's in the F&M bank chat.
Just a big old kid.
He's just hanging out.
Fun.
We appreciate you listening, Ron. Appreciate everybody listening. If you missed anything,
safe out there.
Please do. If you missed anything, remember where you find all your favorite podcasts, you can find us. Download the Zone app. Take us anywhere on the sled with you.
But in the meantime,
In between time.
Peace.